growth, right? So I focused on developing my mind, and then I learned about emotional intelligence. And then I learned how the two are connected and how like you really need both. And then as I was studying emotional intelligence, I started studying mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is really deep, right? I feel like I still need to get a better understanding of mindfulness. And I try to practice mindfulness every morning. Some days are challenging, more challenging than others, but I really do try to. But this morning, we're going to specifically talk about emotional intelligence, EQ, EI. And please know, you guys, I'm like no expert in any of these fields. I just speak based upon research, study, or things I've read, or just my own experience, how I've been able to apply them within my business. And some of you guys may be asking, like, why do I even need this in my business? I'm going to tell you why, right? We specifically need this in our business type because we deal with people, right? We deal with so many people, right? We have our customers, we have our clients, we have vendors, we have third-party contracts, right? Like we deal with people all day, and you have to be able to operate at a high EQ level to be able to fully function in a business where you're dealing with people, right? I was trying to like look up this example. I saw this meme a couple of years ago of this example of like an entrepreneur that had poor EQ, so I could kind of break it down to you, but I couldn't find it. So, but basically how you can tell if maybe you have low EQ, right? Sometimes it's really hard to see in ourselves if we have a thing, but sometimes we can really tell if we can tell in others if they have a thing, right? You ever be like, oh yeah, you tripping, you totally got that, right? But sometimes we'll have some of the same cues. So sometimes it's easier to identify those things to yourself. So I'm just gonna provide some examples. And then if you recognize it in somebody else or you recognize it in yourself, at least you're now aware of a thing. Like there's this part in our brain, back of our brain, I forgot the name of it, okay, where it will help you, like once you fixate your mind on something, it helps you now become more aware of it, right? You ever like go car shopping and you're like, ooh, I really want this yellow Corvette, right? I don't see it. Well, yellow's kind of common. Let's say turquoise, right? I really want this turquoise Corvette. And you're like, I don't never see no turquoise Corvette. This is going to be dope. I'm going to be the only person to have it. And then you're searching for them, you find some, right? And then all of a sudden you're out in the streets and you just see like teal Corvettes all over the place. Like, what? But now you're able to recognize them because you're more aware of them because you fixated your mind on them. So that is one of the things that I like about when you're trying to, self-improve, right? If you become more aware, you educate yourself, the things, the triggers, the tendencies, right? Then you would now be able to see them in yourself, right? Or see them in others. When I see people, it's the craziest thing, which helps me with my EI. Because when I see people lash out or like they go crazy or they have a crazy comment on social media, like, ooh, that baby got low EI. I'm just gonna pray that she gets some help, okay? Because now I can recognize it so easy. And because I can recognize it, I don't like feed the fuel because I know where she's coming from, right? It's something that she needs to work on or they need to work on themselves. And it's not an attack against me. Yes, it's towards me, it's aimed towards, but it's not really an attack of me. It's an attack of themselves. So what it looks like as entrepreneurs to have low EI is where we frequently lash out at our cleaners, our clients, our contractors, right? An individual that will struggle with empathy and understanding their perspective or perspective of emotions from others, right? They may be quick to blame others for mistakes or lack of ability. to take responsibility for their own actions. They may also have difficulty in building and maintaining positive relationships with team members and co-workers, stakeholders, right? And due to this, they could face difficulties in creating a positive environment and leading to high turnover rates, low production, and low performance, right? And one of the key things that they're mentioning that you lash out at is the people around you, your team, right? Especially with our cleaning business. Like, we just can't be over here lashing out at our cleaners. We were literally talking about this last night on the call, that our business thrives on the production of our cleaners, how well our cleaners do, what are they able to produce, right? And if they don't feel respected, or like bump respected, they don't feel valued, right? Then that work level performance will show. And then we talked about it last night that, I was talking to a client too, they were not able to get reoccurring clients simply because the work was not performed well. So, Janeska, she mentioned that, she feeds and provides value to her cleaners. So when she is doing an upsell call to her clients to get them to book a reoccurring, she knows that her promises are backed on quality, valuable cleaning services can be done. Like, she can say without a shadow of a doubt that, look, yes, my price is my price, and you will understand my price when that cleaning is done, because the service that we're going to be providing is going to be top level. You won't see a speck of dust, right? But she can make that statement, she can make that promise because it's backed on what she knows to be true. And what she knows to be true, and they're going to be able to provide that high level of service, is because they feel valuable. They feel respected. They feel like a part of the team. And they won't feel that way if you're lashing out at them for every small thing, especially cleaning, you guys. Cleaning is such a perspective type of service, okay? Because you can have people on two different opposite realms of what they feel is a good job, right? I am very picky with cleaning, right? I mean, I've just always been that way. I was raised in a military household, okay? So I was raised like, look, dress right, everything cannot be out of order. Like, I literally just went to the bathroom before we came, and my kids just left for school, and I'm like, I see a shirt on the floor, and I see a bottle, and like, subconsciously, I'm like literally clocking every little thing. So that way, when they get home, be like, can you go clean your room? My room is clean. No, there wasn't. There, the shirt. I mean, like, I have that perspective. So when somebody comes clean my house, I can tell if they did a good job, because my level of expectations is higher than what somebody else may be, right? Somebody else may have the same cleaning crew, and I'd be like, they kind of missed a spot. Like, I can see cobwebs in that corner. I can literally see the dust on top of that door frame. There's a handprint left. I can see it on the countertop. So that means she had her hand and she was cleaning around her hand, but she didn't lift up her hand and clean under it, right? So I'm taking into an account of those things, where somebody else, they'd be like, oh my God, my house never been this clean, right? So super perspective based. And we want to make sure that when a client is complaining, when a customer is complaining, that we don't automatically just jump hot with our cleaners. We don't want to just automatically just blame our cleaners for a poor service that they're providing, because it's perspective based, right? We want to make sure that we take it into an account. Hold on. Okay, Jason, remember we had our talk that you weren't. Okay, all right. Okay, let me see. All good. Super good. Super, super good. Okay, so look, mommy's literally on live. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, now say goodbye. No, say goodbye. Okay, go. I'll look at it when I'm done. Okay, y'all know. Stay at home work, mom. Okay. So we don't want to jump hot with our cleaners, right? Now, we want to hear both sides, empathize with both sides, right? Empathy is going to be like your number one tool for de-escalating. any kind of irate, like before, like listen, attentively listen. So that way, and you guys are not attentively listening because you want to just hear them like down the company. You're attentively listening for key points. So you're not attentively listening just to be listening, but you're listening to hear those key points. So that way, when you are speaking back to them, you'll be able to bring those back into references. And it shows the person that's talking that you are actually listening and paying attention, right? I talk to my kids all the time. Are you actively listening? Like, can you regurgitate what I just said, right? So, but after that, you want to show empathy, right? It's the first thing. You let them talk, you let them get everything out, because sometimes they just want to just vent, right? And then you provide empathy. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Smith, that, my cleaner missed that area. And I know that you pointed it out to her 2 times. So your house is large, like you mentioned, and we tried our hardest, what I mean? Like, those are like the number 1, 2 things that you want to start off a de-escalation with when you're having to deal with an upset client. The first thing you don't want to do is jump hot with your cleaner. Okay. Hear both sides, de-escalate, find the solution, because sometimes it's not the cleaner's fault. Now, of course, if there's a pattern, right, we don't want to be blind of the patterns, but we also don't want to just jump that, it's their fault, because sometimes it just might be a shady client and they just want a refund. They just want a discount, right? They already had this all mapped out in their head, what they're planning to do. They need the cleaning, but they don't want to pay. Like, they already had it all mapped out. Okay. So, number 1 thing, don't jump hot, right? Provide empathy, listen to them. Be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just got caught up. It is a big house. I thought I did. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like, and be compassionate enough to understand where they're coming from. So what does EI really look like? Okay. EI is all about self-awareness, right? Understanding your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and your behaviors. And I feel like this really can't be tackled in one call, because I was writing them all down and like giving my little feedback notes and stuff. And I was like, man, each one of these really deserve its own. And each one of these also have like a more deeper root of a theme, right? Like, all of these that I'm going to list out is not a surface level type of situation. Okay. It's something that you really have to figure out where these triggers are from. And sometimes therapy helps. Okay. Therapy helps a lot. I first went on this journey, like I talked about, in 2020 during the pandemic, when I had nothing but time. Right. And I was talking to somebody, and like, we started, uncovering some things. And I knew that ultimately some of my ways and habits and triggers was literally going to hinder my growth. Right. One thing is, I can get kind of defensive, right? I'm gonna say I can, because I used to get really defensive. And if I felt attacked, I'm gonna attack back. Okay. And my bite is much bigger than my bark, right? I'm gonna bark loud, but baby, I'm gonna bite you too, because you're gonna feel that thing, right? But like, that is a trigger. I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, she crazy. Look here, y'all. I'm from Compton, okay? My bite and my bark was both loud, all right? So I had to understand that what was triggering that, what was making me feel defensive, right? What was making me feel like I had to overly justify myself? And really, who cares? Like, why am I getting defensive anyways? So I had to figure out those triggers, because it was showing up in my business. It was showing up in my family, showing up in my kids, my marriage, right? Because all of these things that we have not dealt with, that we think we have under control, they will surface itself. Okay. They will come out. They will seep out them pores, right? You can smell somebody who had a good night, right? You can just smell the alcohol on their skin. Okay. It'll just come out, and it'll pop its ugly head at the worst times. So I had to figure out what was the root and the cause effect that allowed me to be able to get defensive with the emotion and then react. So I had to be I had to increase my self-awareness, right? Increase my self-awareness so that way I can understand where these emotions are coming from, where these thoughts coming from, and where these behaviors are coming from. And then I'm able to now notice it, stop it, and go another direction. And over time, like we talked about on Monday, as you build the habit around that thing, then it won't become an issue. So I don't bark or I don't bite. No, I'm not gonna say that. I don't bark as loud, and my biting is like 5%. Okay. But sometimes it calls for a bite. But like now I'm aware. I'm aware to be like, okay, does this situation require a bark or a bite or does it not? Right. So you have to be aware of the situation. And then self-regulation. So this is being able to learn and manage and control your emotions, right? We see this all the time in the sports world, right? We see this all the time in the sports world. You would think that in college, like you would think it would start in college, and that like it would be required. Like when you get your agent, you also get a therapist, because we see it all the time where these athletes, they react just out of their pure emotions. Oh my God, what was that? Was it Antonio Davis? What was that player that like mid-game took his jersey off and like ran off the field? Was it Antonio Davis or what? I don't know what, I don't know what the name of that player is, but if you guys know it, drop in the comments, okay? But yeah, right? And he is a good player. I don't really follow football like that, you know? I mean, I like root and stuff. The Niners just won, so, you know, my husband is extremely happy. But I think that he's a really, really good player. But you know, the one thing that I do know about him, that incident that he took his jersey off mid-game and ran off the field, okay? And whatever his rhyme and reason was, I feel like he could have possibly done that better to represent himself, to represent his culture, to represent his sport, right? And that's when we have to learn to be able to control our emotions. So if you are talking to a crazy customer and your crazy customer is going off on you, that does not mean that it gives you the right to go back off on them, because you will suffer more in the long run than they will, right? What are you going to do? Like, you know, if they put, you know, the hands on you, you can, but this is virtual. You're not going to nobody's door, but you know what they can do? Now, yes, you don't want to have people hold this over your head, but they can leave a negative review on every platform, right? They can request a refund, whether that you request it or not. They can try to do a dispute and then you have to fight it, right? You don't want to deal with any of that. I remember, I think the most crazy, well, we've had some crazy clients, but one of the weirdest, craziest clients was this couple was like having an argument. They were fighting, right? And I was super upset with my cleaner. I was like, girl, like I would have heard that arguing in the street and I would have just kept on rolling. But she like went into the house and cleaning, and then the couple takes the argument in the back room and they're arguing. And then like they come out and then she calls me on my phone, on my cell phone, because I know I let them know like, hey, call me if it's an emergency, right? And she's like, Jasmine, I don't know what to do. I think this guy's trying to kill his wife. I'm like, kill his wife? Like, what is going on? I'm like, girl, get out the house. She was like, I don't want to leave her. But I said, look here, you are not Superwoman. All right. I was about to say Captain, but you know, like you are not Superwoman, girl, get out of that house. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna call you back. And then she calls me back and she calls the police. She calls the police. And she's still in the house. Like, yes, call the police for the safety for domestic violence, right? For a possible, you know, occurrence. I wasn't there, so I don't really know like how it really happened. I can hear the screaming in the back, right? But she called the police. That's good. But she's still in the house, y'all. She's still in the house. She calls me, she's like, Jasmine, the police is here and they want to ask you some questions. They want to ask me some questions. I'm like, I'm gone. Like, I think I was at the movies with my husband and it was just a whole thing. So then after that calmed down, Then of course, who's going to call me next is the client, right? Because he's hot. Like, your cleaner done came in the house, called the police on me. Y'all, that was a crazy situation to de-escalate, but I was able to de-escalate. And the crazy part about it, like, he wanted us to come back the next day to do the cleaning. And I was like, no, sir, I think we're going to pass. I'll give you a full refund. Like, please, peace be with you. Okay. But yeah, so we need to make sure that we can learn how to manage our clients, because we're going to get some crazy ones. Okay. I'm not saying if, I'm saying when. So that way you need to be prepared. And then when you bring on your VA team, this is going to be like one of the number one things you're going to need to teach them on how to react. I had one VA, she was, man, I don't know what hood she was from in the Philippines, because she was putting people in order left and right. Now, she did it in a tasteful way. I think I just had to talk to her one time, but yeah, so you have to be able to train this to your team, your cleaners, because they represent your company, okay? Let's see. So empathy, develop an ability to understand and share feelings with others, okay? This is one of the biggest things, like I mentioned before, that you need to have when you're de-escalating, okay? Now, it's not saying that they are right? Sometimes we fight so much because we want to be right, and we're not. But this is not a matter of who's right and who's wrong. It's a matter of, this is business, and we're going to de-escalate this properly, and we're going to be able to save the face of our company. Okay. So yes, it's the ability to understand exactly where they're coming from, but still know they're wrong. No, yes, I do understand. Like, yes, she should not have called the police, and yes, she should have left. And, like, you know what I mean? Well, I don't think I said not call the police, because, you don't want you beating on your wife and stuff. But I mean, like, it's just the ability to be able to understand and share their feelings. Okay. Social skills, practice effective communication and relationship building skills. Now, like I said last night, I am a total introvert. I would not care if I go anywhere. I don't want to say like I'm an in-house person, but like, I don't need to go to the big events and networking and stuff. I have a friend that's completely opposite of me, and she's at all the things. And she tried to drag me to all the things. Now, if they're necessary, I'll go, right? But I know the importance of community building. I know the importance of relationship building. I know that ultimately that classic phrase, your net worth is your network, because it really is, because those people can get you into doors that maybe you can't. Those people can speak your names in rooms that you can't, but they're only going to speak high of you if you are a high level person. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be bragging on some person like, yeah, you got to really work with this company, they're super awesome, and like, you going off on all your customers and 90% of your reviews are negative, and you literally have a 2-star on Google. Nobody is going to want to work with you, right? We literally would get reviews from clients to where like maybe the service was bad, like the actual cleaning was bad, but they'll be like, oh my God, but the customer service was amazing. I'd be like, can you just left out the first part, right? And just say the second part. But that's because like, we need to exude like love and understanding and empathy, because they can feel it. So you want to make sure that your communication is effective and relationship building, because ultimately you want to build a relationship with your clients, because you want them to come back. You want them to be reoccurring. You want them to refer all their friends and family, their dental office, the post lady, right? You want that. And people like people, right? It doesn't matter the brand, the logo, people love people. They will love your cleaners. They want your clean, they'll get attached to your cleaner. They'll want her to keep coming back. They will love you because they love how well you treat them. They want your company. People love people, right? That's why the influencer market is so high, and why big brand companies go with smaller influencers, because the influencer made time to build a community and to build a really tight knit group of people that adore, love, and respect her. So yes, hey, buy this $20 water bottle. $20. Does it make the water colder? I mean, does it make the water, does it add pH to it? Like $25, you know what I mean? But people will go buy this water bottle because of the influencer. So building relationship is extremely important. And then mindfulness. Let me see what time it is. I don't think I'm going to be able to go through all these. I'll probably just cut it and we'll finish on Friday. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment and aware of your surroundings. So this is a really, 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 really big one. Like I said in the beginning, this is one that I personally am trying to work on, of being present in my moment, because I'm so like tunnel vision sometimes that I'm not enjoying the current space. And I really try to be mindful of that with my kids. I have a 16-year-old, he'll soon be 17. And y'all see my youngest one, he's 5. He's 5, right? And really 5 or 6. See what I mean? I gotta be present, okay? And so when I see my oldest one, we're looking at colleges and we're talking all this stuff, like, oh my God, you're about to leave my house. I'm happy that he's planning to leave, right? No, I'm just playing, but yes. But I just think about how that time just went so fast. I see all these pictures of when he was little. So me trying to practice mindfulness right now, my youngest one is trying to just engulf every moment that I have with him. Engulf like every moment that I have with him and be present. So that way I could like just nourish that, because I know that he'll be 17 soon too. And he's not gonna be talking about trying to go to ninja school. He's gonna be trying to talk about going away. You know, all my kids want to go to the East Coast for school. I don't know why, but you know, be talking about trying to like travel all the way to the other side of the country. So being able to practice mindfulness is just being patient in your present, okay, in the moment, and be aware of your surroundings. And this is so important for entrepreneurs, right? Because this is a process. It's not going to become $1 million business tomorrow. You're not going to go live and, you know, open up your business and you have like 20 reoccurring clients. Now, if you bought a business, right, you acquisition and you gain another company to join you, yeah, right? But it's not going to just be day one. I got solid cleaners and they know what they're doing, and I got a solid client, they know what they're doing. Be okay with being patient and be okay with being aware of your surroundings. Last night we had our Q&A, and one of the ladies was talking about a situation that she's currently in, where like last month she had too many cleaners and not enough clients. And this month she has too many clients and not enough cleaners, and she's stressed, she's frustrated, she's on the border of like trying to figure out if I'm going to give up or keep going, right? And what I'm trying to get her to understand in the midst of all of that, like I understand your stress, right? So that's me showing empathy. I understand that you are stressed. I've been there. I totally get it, right? So that way she can feel like she's not alone. She can feel like, okay, my voice is being heard. I'm valued in this community. She's taking the time to be able to share and, you know, speak wisdom, right? But then I also want to talk to her about what is the learning lesson? Like, be present in this moment. Besides the feelings of stress, what is this actual moment teaching you? What are you going to actually be able to learn and gain from this specific moment that you're going through, right? And it's, of course, it could be others, but it's one of the things I talk about all the time. Always be hiring, right? I know you guys be like, well, what does that look like, right? Always be hiring, right? So it's a thing that she has to learn to where now I know she'll never end up in this situation again. But if she's so focused on being stressed and trying to find the solution and not be mindful and patient in her current present moment, then she won't take what that present moment is trying to teach her. She won't be able to get the lesson of what this present moment is trying to teach her. She's not going to be aware of her surroundings. And now what's going to happen is that it'll be a repeat, and she'll be a repeat offender of the same situation that she hates that she's in. So mindfulness is extremely important. And, you know, we're in this super loud society, right? Social media all the time, TV. I mean, people used to complain about cable bill being so high. I remember like I had Comcast back home, and I think it's Spectrum here. complain all the time, right? I don't know if y'all remember the black box days, that illegal cable, but used to complain about their cable bill all the time. They will call to get a rediscount. Now, I don't know what it is that people are like got bamboozled, because now everybody has every streaming thing. They have Paramount, they have Disney, they have Hulu, they have Netflix. What's another one? Did I say Paramount already? I mean, all of those, the Amazon Prime, right? They have all of those. And if you add all of them up, it's going to be more than your cable bill. But like, we're so distracted and such in this high, fast-paced society, right? I have so many students are like, I just want to get it fast. I want to get it fast. I'm like, slow down, slow down. I had a call with somebody that had that same mentality, and he's still facing the same things of our last call. I'm like, slow down. Like, what are you missing? What are you not learning in right now that's really blocking your growth, right? Because you have the budget, so it's not marketing. You have the cleaners, so it's like, what is it? Like, let's figure it out. Is it pricing? Is it model? Is it your response time? Like, what is it, right? So we have to be able to practice mindfulness. Just slow down, take a moment, right? Do some meditation, sit in quiet. Like, can you challenge yourself, or can you ask yourself right now, could I sit in silence right now? Like, how long could I sit in complete silence without feeling the need to like get scroll happy and get lost in the scroll, right? Can I really just sit here in silence? So if that answer is like, oh, I don't know, right? Or after a couple minutes, I get a little antsy, then that's an area that you have to self-improve on. So all of these areas I'm going to go over them one last time, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. Challenge yourself and look at these areas. Do I need to work on these areas of self-awareness? Self-regulation is the one we're talking about, managing your control of your emotions, right? Empathy, social skills, mindfulness. There's like 5 others. We'll do that on Friday, but you have to ask yourself, do I need to improve or develop in these areas? What are my triggers? What causes me to get hot? What causes me to get overly emotional? What causes me to get stressed out, frustrated? What causes me to be in a negative mindset, right? What causes me to do all these things, and figure out those triggers. So that way you'll be able to now be aware of them. You'll be able to regulate them. You'll be able to empathize with others without jumping hot. You'll be able to communicate with others without being all caught up in your own self. And you'll be able to be patient in your current present moment. So that way you can learn exactly what this process has taken you. So I hope this has been good with you guys today. I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. And then I'm going to let you guys go, so that way you guys can conquer the day. Oh, you talk about Jay Savory. Yeah. I had my little pep talk with him. I was like, Jay Savory, you stay out this door. Cause on Monday, he did good. Friday, he didn't do good, but yeah, he just wants to be in the mix. Let's see. I'm working on myself. I am from Philly. Yes, Jade, I know, love. We're all a work in progress. Like none of us is perfect. I'm not perfect, right? Like whatsoever. So as long as we are continually making these practices to work on ourselves, to be aware of our surroundings and be aware of what's causing our reactions, then we're growing, right? Nobody is perfect. I be counting on my fingers and asking my adult kids. I know. Yeah. It's maybe it's the old age. Anybody have any questions on Facebook or Zoom? Hey, Sherry, good morning, love. The replay will be
Good
up.
morning, Jasmine.
Oops. That was series. Oh, she thought it said series. Okay. I hope you guys have an awesome day. The replay will be up in the Facebook group, and then in Zoom, I will post this replay shortly. And like always, I'll see you guys Friday morning. What's today? Today's Wednesday, so we don't have anything. Yeah. So I'll see you guys Friday morning. Check you guys out in the group and in Circle, and y'all have a good one. Bye, y'all. Oh, was that a question that popped up? Okay, no, it wasn't. All right. Y'all have a good one.